right, hello everyone. Happy Thursday. We're winding down the week here. Hopefully you guys had a great live stream yesterday with Greg. Hopefully you got some great education out of that. He does such an amazing job, an amazing educator. So hopefully you guys joined us yesterday. Today we are going to be doing a little bit more acrylic, and we're going to be doing some transitioning from, I guess we're in summer, from summer to fall. And I'm going to show you how to use some colors that maybe you've been using for the summer. Now we're going to use them into our fall designs here. So let me just jump into the chat. And yes, you guys, sorry, we had a little technical difficulties. I don't know. I think there's something in the air today. I'm having some technical difficulties on a few different platforms here, but we are gonna go ahead and get started. I think we're up and running. Everything is looking good on all ends here. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm just gonna shorten up my nail here a little bit. Anytime I'm sculpting, and you guys, we are going to be sculpting with acrylic today. We're going back to some good old solid acrylic, and anytime I sculpt, I always like to shorten up that natural nail, and that way I don't have that natural nail interfering with my form application and things like that. So just getting that nail shaped up a little bit. I don't really need to go through and do a ton of shaping. I don't have to get a perfect shape on there because we're going to be sculpting out our perfect shape. So let's go ahead and get started on our prep. And for our prep, I'm going to use our magic wand. Let me come in a little bit closer here. I'm going to use our magic wand to get that cuticle pushed back. Always simulate that even on your trainer hands, just to make sure that you stay in the routine and stay in that habit of pushing back the cuticles, even if you are just doing your practicing. We're going to switch to our medium grit sanding band, and I'm going to pop a brand new one on there. I always like to start with a brand new sanding band, making sure that it's nice and clean, it's going to be sanitary, and it's going to have the proper grit. If you're using an old sanding band, you may not have the proper grit. It may not do the job you need it to do. So always start with a fresh, brand new sanding band for the best adhesion, best application, just best all around. And we're going to use our electric file here at about 5,000 RPMs. Just going to go right up around that cuticle area, cleaning up any dead cuticle that might be stuck to that natural nail, and then just gently feathering my bit all the way through, removing the shine from that nail, breaking up any surface oils on there. And then we'll go ahead and dust off the nail. Get as much of that dust off of there as you can. Get that nail nice and cleaned up, and get that last little bit of whatever that nail is hanging out underneath there. I'm going to clean that up. And you guys, I'm going to grab a new file. I've been using this one on my trainer hand for a couple of nails here. So I'm going to grab a brand new file. And anytime you get a brand new file, always make sure that you take the sharp edges of them off. And what I mean by that is using a different file. I always have one that says prep. This is all that I use this file for. Take those sharp edges off of your new file. That way you're not going to worry about cutting or anything along those sides when you do your filing. So always make sure that you prep your new files and keep them nice and sharp on the filing edge, but nice and soft and smooth on that side edge. All right, so one more time, let me just clean up right around that corner there. Okay, so dust off that nail, and then I'm going to grab my swipe. So swipe is the little blue liquid, comes in a pump bottle. I'm going to pump a little bit of that onto my manicure brush, and I'm going to give that nail a really good scrub, really cleanse off that nail, get any extra dust that might still be sitting on that nail, get that cleaned off of there, get any germs, any bacteria that might be on there. And I think I had a little extra swipe on there, so I'm just going to grab a lint-free wipe and just clean off some of that extra. We didn't need quite so much on there. But at this point, I'm going to let this nail dry till it's going to come back, and you can see already, it's already coming back to a nice clean dry surface. We're going to use 2 coats of our protein bond, and protein bond is our bonder. This is what's really going to help our product adhere, whether you're working with acrylic, hard gel, gel polish, If you're using our tip and jewel adhesive to adhere full cover tips, our protein bond is just going to really give you that great added insurance to make sure that your enhancements really adhere well. And when I'm working with enhancements, I do like to use 2 coats of protein bond. So that way I just get a really good coverage. I know that I've got great adhesion all the way through that whole nail. Let's go ahead and grab our forms because like I said, we're going to be sculpting today. So I'm going to take that form, peel that right off the paper. Now you see that I did leave that little center tab in there. I'm going to take that tab and we're going to just place that right on the back of the form. That's going to give my form a little bit more durability. It's going to feel a little bit more kind of a firm feel to it rather than a flimsy feel. We're going to pinch those 2 little silver tabs together, and today we're going to be working and creating an almond shape. So I'm going to pinch the end of my form together, and I'm actually going to pinch it a little bit farther up because we're not going to be doing a stiletto all the way to the end of the form. So we're going to just open that up at the top, and we're going to bring that form up at a slight angle underneath that nail, catch right underneath that free edge, get that form right up under there, and then just gently lift up at the end, and that's going to bring that form right up underneath that natural nail. And then we'll secure it down on the sides. Now I am going to turn this finger around really quick. I just want to do a quick check of my form, making sure that that nail and that form is nice and straight, and I think that looks about right. All right, you guys, let me know in the chat. Do you like to sculpt nails or do you prefer tips? I want to know in the chat. So let me know, do you like sculpting like we're doing here or tips? Or maybe you've never even actually done sculpting. I know a lot of people haven't sculpted, so let me know. I want to see who's watching, see what you guys want to learn here today. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to sculpt out our nail. And I did grab some of my table towels. It's the same table towels that I've got here in front of me, but I just cut them up into smaller pieces. So that way they're easier for me when I'm using my acrylic and wiping my brush. And actually today I think I want to talk a little bit about wiping your brush. So we're going to talk about that as we work. But let's go ahead and grab a little bit of clean monomer. I'm going to clean off my Dappen dish. I'm going to soak up any extra monomer from previous applications. So that way I'm always going to start with nice, clean, fresh monomer. All right, you guys, it looks like a lot of you are still using tips, which is great. That is a great option. But today, let's see, somebody says sculpted but never done. Okay, all right. So today we are going to be sculpting. So those of you that are maybe not sure how to sculpt, you're in the right spot. So stick with us today. So I'm going to take my monomer, and today we're using our traditional monomer with the pink label. And let me find my brush here. I'm going to take my brush, and I like to take my brush, touch my brush to the top of the bottle, and then I can pour that liquid right down the bottle, or right down the brush, not the bottle. So this way it's going to go straight down into my Dappen dish, and it's not going to spill or run down the bottle. So just going to fill that, not even halfway up, but probably I would say a third, yeah, maybe a third. We'll say a third of the way up. And then today I'm going to be working with our Cover Peach acrylic. Now Cover Peach and Cover Pink are probably my favorite colors to work with when I'm doing just like a solid colored overlay or something like that, because they're a beautiful, beautiful opaque color, and they're going to be great for kind of a base color, as you can see on this one right here. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, like I said, I want to talk about wiping your brush a little bit today, because I get a lot of people asking me, well, when, as you're working, how do you know how to wipe your brush, or when do you wipe your brush, or, you know, how do I know when to wipe my brush? Now, you guys, I will tell you that as you're working, the more comfortable you get with your product, the more you practice, the more you're going to realize, and you're going to just kind of feel how you need to wipe your brush. But I'll tell you a couple of things. One, when you wipe your brush or when you're working with your product, you know what, let me put another nail on here real quick. We'll set that one off to the side here. So as you're working, a couple of different times where you're going to wipe your brush. So say I pick up my pearl and I set that onto the nail and I lift up my brush. If I see there's a residue on my brush, just like that, that's one time that I will for sure wipe that. If I have product in my brush and I go to work on the nail, do you see how those little bristles are actually starting to stick? If you have product in your brush like this and you press that onto the nail, that product is going to want to track to the product that's on the nail. So make sure that if you have residue in your brush, wipe out your brush. Another thing is, as you're working, sometimes you may feel, do you see how my brush is getting kind of misshapen? Maybe I'm working on the edge of my brush, or I have little bristles kind of poking out. I will also wipe my brush to make sure that my brush comes back into shape. Okay, so those are a couple of different reasons. One other reason that I tend to wipe my brush, well, I guess a couple of reasons, is if my pearl, sorry you guys, I lost a word for a second there. If my pearl has too much liquid and I feel like it's running too fast, then I'll take my brush, I'll wipe out my brush and get rid of that extra liquid so I don't add that extra liquid to the nail again. Okay, so a few different times where you're going to be excuse me, where you're going to be wiping your brush, and I'll kind of talk about this as we do our application here. But I just wanted to point out some of those different things because, like I said, I've had a lot of people recently ask me, you know, how or when or why do I wipe my brush? So let's go ahead and get started on our application. So for my enhancement here, I'm going to be sculpting out a little bit of a longer nail, just like we've got here. So when I build out my free edge, I'm going to press my liquid out of the back side of my brush. I'm going to bounce my brush into the powder. And at this point, I'm going to take my brush, set that down onto my my towel here. What that's going to do is you're going to see how that drained that liquid out, and my pearl looks a little bit more of a matte finish. When we're working on our forms, you guys, let me show this before I actually put it onto a nail. So when we're working on forms, if you just put your product right from the powder right onto that form, do you see how fast that runs and it moves? What I want to do instead is on my form, I want my product a little bit more in clay form. So I'm going to pick up my pearl, bounce in the powder. I'm going to set that down onto my towel. I'm going to drain out that extra liquid, and then I'm going to set that onto my form. At this point, you can see it's just going to soften a little bit, but it's not going to run out of control like this one did. Okay, so that's how I can maintain a little bit more control of my product. I can move it and I can work with that, and it's not going to flow and run on me. Okay, so just a couple of little tricks here to get you guys going. All right, so let me change out my towel. I always want to make sure that I've got a nice clean place to wipe my brush on. So that's why I like to cut up my table towels into smaller pieces so I can just peel one off and always have a fresh place to wipe my brush. So again, let's tap out the back side of our brush. We're going to pick up our pearl, press, bounce, bounce. I'm going to drain out that liquid 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to set that onto my form. Now when I set this down, I'm going to lift up my brush. I've got a little bit of residue in my brush. I'm going to wipe that residue out. Get rid of that so it's not going to stick to the product that's on your form. And then I'm going to use my brush, pressing that out from side to side and walking that bulk up into the corner. Use the edge of my brush to tuck that in. Now notice I'm not wiping my brush out just yet. Okay, my product is flowing exactly how I want it to. It's not moving a whole lot. I'm kind of being the one to put it where it's going to go. Now I'm going to wipe my brush because at this point I want my product to start setting up a little bit more, getting a little bit more firm. So when I wipe my brush out like that, it's going to remove that liquid from my brush, so it's not going to be injecting it into the acrylic, and it's going to help my product set up a little bit faster. I'm just going to pinch that form a little bit more. Again, wiping my brush to get rid of extra liquid if I want my product to set up a little bit more. Now I'm going to wipe my brush out so it's nice and clean, and then I'm just going to float my brush, flow that all the way through the whole surface to smooth everything out. I'm going to wipe out my brush on both sides before I go back into my monomer. The reason that I wipe out both sides before I go back into my monomer is if I had any residue in my brush here, and I go back into my liquid, all of that residue is going to go into my liquid and it's going to start to thicken my liquid. And I don't want that. If you're getting that powder into your liquid, you're not going to be able to pick up a good pearl the next time. Okay, so let's see. Somebody's asking which brush am I using? The brush that I'm using here is Greg's Signature Series brush. It's a size 12. It's an oval. It has that little crimp in the ferrule there. It comes to a really nice tight point, but you can also press it out to be a little bit more of an oval shape. And you guys, everything that I'm using here today is on our website, youngnails.com, and I think maybe our moderators will probably get that pinned in the chat for you, so you can check everything out on our website. Okay, let's pick up our pearl for our cuticle area. So we're gonna press, bounce, bounce. Now this one, we're gonna wait just a couple of seconds. Do you see how that pearl turned from kind of an orange peel-like texture to more of a smooth pearl-like texture? You guys, if you didn't see that, I'm gonna show you one more time, because this is really an important thing, especially for beginners, to really know when you should put the product onto the nail. So again, we're gonna press, bounce, bounce, bounce. Orange peel, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're looking like a pearl. Now I'm going to set that onto the nail. Okay, so I'm going to do one more here just so you can see again, because this is a technique that just really made a lot of sense to me when I started working with acrylic, is just understanding exactly when to place that product onto the nail. Okay, so now we're at that smooth pearl. I'm going to angle my finger downward. I'm going to press my product on. I'm going to lift up my brush. I've got just a tiny little bit of residue on there, so I'm going to just barely wipe that off onto my towel so that as I'm pressing out my cuticle area, my brush is not going to stick to the product. Okay, so again, wiping that out just gently. I'm going to tap around my edges, right around that cuticle, and then I'm going to pull the rest of that product just from that stressed area, pull that forward, blending that out. Now, if you ever feel like your product is sticking to your brush at this point, wipe out your brush. Get rid of that extra product that may be stuck in there. But now, right at this point, my product is starting to set up, it's starting to firm up, so nothing is actually sticking to my brush, so I can blend through and pull that acrylic forward without having to wipe out my brush. Now, we are going to pick up another pearl to use right through here as our blender bead. So before I go back into my liquid, wipe out all the sides of my brush. Okay, we're going to pick up another pearl, tap out the back side, press, bounce, bounce. Now this one's going to be a smaller one. Now this one, I don't want it to run and flow quite as much as that last pearl that I picked up, but I don't want to bring it exactly to clay form like that free edge was. So for this pearl, what I'm going to do, I'm going to press, bounce, bounce. I'm just going to dab it, just quick dab, turn my brush around, press that down, blend back. Okay, I'm going to blend back. Now I've got a little bit of residue on my brush, so wipe that out, blend back, a little bit of residue, wipe that out. Now I can use my brush to press and then blend all of that product forward. Okay, so blend forward, a little bit of residue, wipe out my brush, blend forward, a little bit of residue, wipe out my brush, blend forward, a little bit of residue, wipe out my brush. Anytime you're brushing and blending out and you pick up any of that residue, make sure to wipe out your brush. Now I'm going to blend backwards. I'm going to turn my brush around, blending backwards. At this point, I'm not wiping my brush every time because my product is set up enough to where it's not pulling product and clogging up my brush. Okay, so a lot of different times and a lot of different reasons that you would be wiping your brush throughout the application. Okay. Somebody says, can you show us some designs? Absolutely, I can definitely show you some designs. I did want to go through and sculpt out our nail first, and then, you guys, by the magic of the internet, I am going to go ahead and swap this one out. I've got a nail that is already filed out and ready to go. Actually, I've got a couple of them here. So we can swap this out and show you guys some beautiful summer to fall designs, okay? So I'm going to take this one off, slide that right off. And you guys, when you're working with the trainer hands, make sure that you do slide off those nails. Don't just kind of rip them out of there, because what can happen is if you just lift up on them, they'll actually strip out the little threads that hold them in. And then your nails can, they don't hold in there as easily. So keep that in mind. All right, I am gonna put in a couple more nails here. Let's see, I've got 2 more nails here. I was gonna show you guys or have a few designs already pre-done. I've got 2 on there, but I kind of ran out of time. So you guys get bonus colors today on camera. Now I am gonna clean out my brush. I had it soaking, whoops, I'm gonna dump everything over. So I did have my brush soaking in my monomer, so I am gonna wipe that out on my table towel, roll that back to a point, and we'll set that off to the side. And you guys, let me grab a clean table towel here. And I think that did soak all the way through here. Yep, you guys, let me just grab a clean, fresh table towel real quick. And then we'll go ahead and restart. Sorry about that. But you guys, if you do accidentally spill any of your products, make sure that you clean that up right away so that you don't accidentally set your hand into that monomer that's on your table towel, okay? You want to make sure that you're keeping your hands, your skin clean. So make sure to always replace those table towels if they do get product on them. And you guys, yeah, somebody's reminding you in the chat, make sure that you hit the subscribe button on our channel here. Join us all with all of the fun stuff that we're doing. And I'm going to grab some of my colors here, and we're going to be working with our Mission Control gel paints. So we're going to start with, I'm going to rearrange these here. Actually, let me grab one other color here. All right, and you guys, you got to let me know in the chat here. Do you want, oh, which ones do we want to do here? Do you guys want to see blue, pink, green, or yellow? Actually, I'm going to do pink for sure, but you guys let me know in the chat. Do you want to see, I got those mixed up there. Do you want to see green, blue, or yellow also? Let me know in the chat. You guys got to let me know. So we've got our nail filed out and ready to go. I've gone through with a 150 grit file and filed the nails out, shaped everything up. Did give them just a really quick buff to just kind of smooth the surface a little bit. I didn't go through and completely smooth that because I want a little bit of texture when I am doing my designs. So just give it a little smoothness. We're going to dust off that nail, clean out underneath there. We're going to go back to our swipe. Oh, you guys are saying yellow. Okay, yellow. It might be yellow. But again, go back to our swipe. We're going to pump a little bit of that onto our manicure brush. Cleanse off that nail. Get all of that dust off of there, all that debris, anything off of there. And we are going to go back with one more coat of our protein bond. Okay, we want to give this nail another really good texture, a tacky surface to grab onto our gel paint that we're working with. So one more coat of protein bond. Shiny Starfire says I would say teal. All right, you guys. Well, I got 2 nails here that I can do for you. Actually, you know what? Let me go through. Let me just give this one a quick little buff here too. That way we have both of our nails ready to go. We'll dust this one off as well. Blues, yellow. All right, you guys are saying blue and yellow. Okay, so I think we'll do. All right, let me think about it. Maybe we'll do yellow since we've already got the blue on here. But let me think about it. We'll do the pink first, and then we'll see where we're at. And again, we'll do one more coat of our protein bond all the way through that nail. And okay, so you guys, we're going from summer to fall right now. I know it's that weird transitional time where we don't necessarily want to be working and wearing those fall colors just yet because we've got some great, beautiful summer colors. But I'm going to show you how to do a design to transition into the fall. So we're going to start with our summer color, which is Mega Jam. And that is our, you can see that's a bright fuchsia kind of a pink. And then we're going to add in Coco Loco, which is kind of a, I'm going to say it's a darker mauve kind of a color. So I'm gonna grab my dual-ended brush and spatula, and I've got my black one today. I usually use, you guys usually see me use the rose gold one. That one I like to save for when I'm working with my tip and jewel adhesive. So I have a separate one for when I do my art and my designs. Now I'm gonna give this just a quick stir here. I'm gonna use that spatula from the back end there. I give that a good stir, make sure that all my color pigment is combined. And then we'll use the brush side. Now I'm going to pick up just a small little scoop. Now if you are not familiar with our Mission Control, these are gels. They're a hard gel. They're a gel paint, so you can do design work with them, and they're very highly pigmented. So even just a little bit, you can see a little bit of that color is going to go a long way. Ooh, somebody says pink and yellow would pop like a sunset. You know what? Maybe let's try, I actually really like that idea. Let's try pink and yellow on the next one, because I know sunset nails are also a really big thing right now too. But let's go with our summer to fall design first. And I'm just kind of coming right up around the edges, making sure that I'm getting all the way to my edge. I had a little bit right on the skin there. Gonna bring that right up to that cuticle area, and I'm only gonna brush this color out on about half of that nail. I'm gonna wipe out that extra on my tile, and this is just a little ceramic tile or an art palette, whatever you've got. And then I'm just gonna pull my brush right down the middle. That's gonna smooth out kind of that transition area. Clean that gel out of my brush. I don't have to completely clean it all out, but get the majority of that out of there. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Coco Loco, take a good scoop of that. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So this one we're going to brush down on the other side. Now you guys, you can see that that one is definitely a little bit more kind of on the fall to winter. This side is going to be a lot more on the spring and summer. So we're going to brush our fall and winter color all the way over to the edge, bring that up to the cuticle. Now I'm going to blend these two. So we're going to get our transitional color right in the middle. I'm going to just wipe out a little bit of that product out of my brush. I think I had a little bit more than what I needed. And I'm going to do a pretty good solid firm wipe right down the middle. And I got a couple of little pieces of glitter. I'm not sure where those two came from, but let me get those out of there. Not a big deal. Just going to wipe that back down. Now, if you guys don't get the perfect blend on your first application, or maybe you did have a little something in there that you needed to clean off, not a big deal, because we're going to do a second coat of both of these colors, and that's where that real good ombre, that solid blend is going to come in. But for now, we've got that base color, okay? On this one, I'm going to pop this into the light, and I'm going to freeze this into place for about 30 seconds. So you could do either that, or you could use our Touch Cure light, and you could use that to just set these into place. Now you guys, I am seeing there's a little tiny piece of fuzz on here. I just want to get that off of there if I can. Nope, it's already cured in there. That's okay. We're going to just set that into place. We will seal over that little piece of fuzz. If you do see those little pieces of fuzz, try to get those cleaned off ahead of time. But if not, that's okay too. All right, so normally I would just put this into the full UV LED light to give that a full 30-second cure. And if you're working on one hand can be in the light, and then you can work on the other hand while that one's curing. So I think we are pretty good to go on that. We've got a pretty thin layer on there, so it's going to cure nice and quickly. Now let's go ahead and do our second coat. Again, I'm going to clean out my brush a little bit. I'm going to grab that magenta kind of color, and again, this one is, oh my goodness, Mega Jam. For some reason, my brain is not working with colors today. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with our second coat. We're going to brush on that first side, all the way to the edge, all the way back to that cuticle area, and then pull that product forward. Guys, I don't know where all these little pieces of fuzz are coming from, but that's okay. It'll just be a part of the design now. Actually, you guys, let me clean out my brush here real quick. I don't know if there's something sticking in my brush here. If you do get those little pieces of lint on your brush, definitely give those a clean off real quick. That way you don't have to worry about them. It's possible that there was something on my tile here too. So let me give that a good wipe down. All right, so we've got our pink on the one side. We're gonna take our Coco Loco, our fall and winter color on the other side. We'll brush that through all the way back to the cuticle area and blending that forward. Now, you can start to see those colors really coming together nicely, but I'm gonna wipe out my brush, get that extra color out of there. I'm gonna do a nice firm blend right down the middle. And this is really gonna help to blend out those colors, bring them together. So now we've got that beautiful kind of chocolate color on the one side. We've got our summer color on the other side. We'll go ahead. This time I am gonna pop that into the light to do a full 30-second cure. That way it's gonna cure my color all the way through. Now you guys, you did say that some of you wanted to see the blue and green. You guys, I'm gonna show you all of these colors just so you can see how pretty they are in person. But I think, you know what, I'm really liking, somebody had said the kind of that sunset look. So maybe let's play around here a little bit today. I'm gonna try something here today. But just to show you guys, Cloudette and Snail Mail, those are the two that I used on the last finger, on the fourth finger. So again, we've got that brighter, summery kind of a teal, kind of an aqua, and then kind of a dusty blue. You guys, camera doesn't do this one justice. It looks a lot like brighter blue, but it is more of kind of a dusty blue. So that's a really pretty, I think, honestly, you guys, for winter, I know we're not quite there yet. I don't want to quite get to winter, but Snail Mail is going to be a beautiful color for the winter. I think it's going to be a really trendy color this year. And then we've got Clash, which again is our summery bright green. So kind of that neon limey green. And then Giant is going to be more of our darker wintry. And again, you guys, for the holidays, Christmas time, this is going to be an amazing green. It's a beautiful color just on its own there. And then, all right, so our nail is cured out. So you guys, a lot of you were saying you wanted the yellows. So I've got orange, which is Taser and super bright, super fun, and Solar, which is our super bright yellow. Now, I think, oh, you guys, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to blend together the yellow and the orange. And we're going to see, maybe we'll add just a little bit of pink for the sunset. But again, you guys, those sunset nails I think are really trendy for the fall. I've been seeing a lot of that online, and a lot of that in a lot of fashion kind of things. So let's start with a little bit of that Solar. Grab that yellow. Now you guys, this one we haven't top coated yet, so we're going to top coat both of these together, okay? And you guys, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, join our community, keep getting free education, keep having fun here with us, and keep getting inspiration. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. All right, so same thing. We're gonna just come right back to that cuticle area, all the way back there, making sure to cap those sides really well, blending that over. And again, I'm gonna wipe out that extra on my tile. Just gonna blend that a little smoother here. And let's grab a little bit of that orange, that Taser. I'm gonna blend that all the way down the side, back up to our cuticle area, and then right down the middle. Oh, you guys, that's gonna be a beautiful sunset. Beautiful, beautiful sunset. Now, for some reason, that pink was just calling to me. You guys, let's see what happens if we take just a little bit of that pink. Not much, but just a little bit. What happens if we blend that right through the center? Ooh, you guys, I'm liking that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Did you like it with just the yellow and the orange? Or do you like that sunset with a little bit more pink? Let me know. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the chat. I think I'm liking that, but I think maybe just a tiny little bit more yellow right on the side to blend that in. brighten that up just a little bit more. Because I know this is going, you know, transitioning from summer to winter, but I still like that little bit of brightness on there. Let's see. Somebody's asking in the chat, does it leave a tacky layer? You guys, the gel paints that I'm using right now are our Mission Control. They are a hard gel and they do not leave a tacky layer. So once they're cured, they are cured, and you don't necessarily have to put a top coat over them, but you can if you want to. So you have to just kind of see what works for you. And you can top coat or you don't have to top coat. I am going to top coat these when we're done just to make sure that they are sealed. But let's see, you guys, some of you are saying the pink is a beautiful add-on. Somebody says, I want candy corn. Absolutely, you guys. These two colors, and let me show you one other color here. For Halloween, these three colors, Fizz, Taser, and Solar, those are your perfect colors for those candy corns. So absolutely. Oh, you guys, I don't have another, let's see. I don't have another finished nail here, but let's see if we can, see what happens if we try to create a candy corn. Now, you guys, I haven't tried this yet, so I'm going to kind of wing it here. But let's see what happens when we blend those three colors together. See what happens. Let's give it a try. So if we take, maybe let's take a little bit of the white. All right, you guys, we have our nail in the light here. We'll get back to that one in a second, but just because somebody said candy corn, now I'm curious. I just want to see what it's going to look like. So you guys are learning right along with me here. And you guys, a lot of times we do find inspiration through other people, through other nail techs, through other social media, and use that inspiration, try out a design and make it your own. Create what you're able to create. And just try things. So let's do a second color here. So we're going to take that yellow, that Solar, dragging that right through our white. Wipe out my extra, get a little ombre going on the side here. And then again, wipe out my brush. We'll pick up a little bit of that orange. Get that on the side. Oh my gosh, you guys, I think I like this. What do you guys think? Do you think you like we're going to call this the candy corn ombre. We're going to just make it up as we go here. So just blending all the way through. Clean out my brush a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit more firm pressure. Blending through, blending through. I'm going to just bring that all the way over to the edge. And maybe bring that back. All right, well, this one definitely is going to need a second coat of color, but yeah, you guys, I love this. This is super fun. Somebody's asking, how am I commenting and doing live right now? You guys, I've got a great team of moderators that they are in the chat there with you, helping to answer questions. So if you have questions, you're welcome to pop those in the chat. I do try to take a look at the questions and the comments in the chat there. So I'm paying attention, but I can't always see all of the comments in there. So that's why we've got a great team of moderators. All right, you guys, let's go back to this one. This one was just our orange and yellow, and then we did add that little bit of pink to it just for a little bit of brightness. So let's go ahead and do our second coat to really get that ombre blend. And just blending through. Second coat, do you see how I work that product all the way over to the other side? That's going to really help me get that great ombre all the way over to the other side. Again, clean out my brush a little bit here. Let's take that orange and bring that to the edge all the way back up to the cuticle area. And I'm going to use a pretty firm pressure with my brush working through on this last coat to really get that ombre to blend out really well. And I think maybe just a tiny little bit more yellow right in there. I'm going to slow down my brush, blending that all the way through. All right, you guys, oh, I love that. Let's go back into the light on this one. We'll get that curing out. We'll come back to our candy corn look. And again, this was our 3-color one. So this one's got a little bit of white on the side here. So blending through that white all the way back towards that cuticle area. Just blend that out, use some good firm pressure, and then I'm going to clean out my brush. You guys, I'm running out of room on my tile here. But I'm going to wipe out, clean out my brush, firm pressure with my brush to really get that to blend. We'll grab a little bit of that yellow, bring that right in the middle, firm pressure all the way through over to the orange. I'm going to take out the little bit of extra out of that, blend that in with the white. And ooh, you guys, look at that. I love it. Love it on this one. Take a little bit of that orange, that Taser, bring that right up the edge, pull all the way forward, a little bit more firm pressure all the way through, getting that to blend really well. I'm going to clean out my brush, get a little bit of that extra paint out of there, and I think I'm just going to pull my brush all the way through, really getting those colors to blend. All right, you guys, I'm liking that. What do you think? Do you like the candy corn inspiration? This was kind of fly by the seat of our pants here today, but that was kind of fun. I like that. All right, so let's go back to our other nails that we've already polished up here. And let's go ahead and top coat these. So you guys, those of you that know what time it is, let's go ahead and start our top coat chant in the chat. If you don't know what time it is, welcome to our community here. Thanks for joining us today. And whenever we do our top coat, we always do our fun little top coat chant, and you can just type in top coat, top coat, top coat into the chat and have some fun there. Now, you know what, you guys, I was actually going to use our Ultimate Finish top coat, but I think I'm going to do one with our Ultimate Finish top coat so you guys can see the shiny finish, but then I'm going to do a second one with our matte non-tack top coat, because in the fall, I love using the matte top coats. So it's just going to add a little bit of a different look to your nails. It's going to add a little bit, maybe, I don't want to say texture, but it's going to give it more of kind of a velvety feel. So on our middle one here, let's use the Ultimate Finish with that high shine. Actually, you know what, you guys, on these two, we've already got the matte. Let's go ahead and just use the, sorry, you guys, we got the shiny on here. Let's use the matte on our other two. And you guys, I need to see it in the chat. You got to type in top coat, top coat, top coat. I got to see that. Got to see that you guys are here with me. So again, we're going to use our matte non-tack top coat. Now this one is a great option because it does not have that tacky finish. That's why it's called a non-tack. So once this cures out fully, it is going to be completely cured. You're not going to have to wipe off any tacky finish or anything like that. And it's going to be a quick and easy finish to our nails. So again, top coating both of these all the way through. Now this one is going to cure for a full 60 seconds. Now normally you guys, a lot of times I'll just freeze the top coat so that you guys can see the final look on them. But with the matte top coat, I do want to completely cure that all the way through, so that way you're going to be able to see exactly what it looks like. But let's go ahead and finish this one with our Ultimate Finish. And actually, you guys, do you want to see one more little add-on that we could do here? Let me know in the chat. And if we get enough people telling me that you want to see a little bit more, then maybe I'll add it on. Otherwise, I'll just top coat this one. But do you guys want to see a little bit more art? Just a little bit, maybe just a little bit? Or do you want me to just top coat? Maybe I'll just top coat. All right, you guys, I think I'll just top coat then, because I'm not seeing anybody put anything in the chat. All right, I guess we're, okay, everybody says top coat. Okay, I guess, yeah, okay, more? All right, you guys, one more quick little add-on here to our nails then is, you guys, this is just, I'm kind of winging it all today. I wasn't really planning on showing you guys this, but we've got some really super fun stamping designs. So let's grab, oh, you guys, okay. Sorry, you guys, I swear I wasn't really planning on showing you guys this, but I've recently realized that we have some beautiful fall leaves on our stamping plates here. So I gotta show you guys this. So I'm gonna grab, oh, let's see. I'm gonna grab a little bit of our polish remover. This is our on to the next polish remover. And I'm gonna just cleanse off my stamps. Somebody says, are you blind? You guys, I have so many different products and stuff here with Young Nails that I sometimes forget all of the fun things that we have. So I probably knew that we had these when they first came out, but I forget sometimes. So I'm gonna grab, let me see, what color do I want to use? I think maybe we'll just use black, just to kind of go with our design here. So we've got our black polish, and this one is called Blackout Joy. And this is just an air dry polish. So you want to make sure that you're not trying to do this with gel, because gel is not really going to work very well for your stamping. So let's grab our stamper. And on my stamper, I've actually wiped this with a little bit of our Manicure cleanser. It's an alcohol-based cleanser. And sometimes I like to have a stamper that has more of that matte finish. Sometimes I like to have one that has more of that shiny finish. So sometimes your product is going to pick up better on that matte. Sometimes it's going to pick up better on the shiny. It just kind of depends on the design. So that's why I did that. And I'm going to use our little tool here to clean off my stamper. Just get that all ready to go, because you guys, when you're working and you're doing your stamping, you do have to work fairly quickly. You have to make sure that you've got everything ready to go. So I've got my stamper nice and clean. My little scraper tool here is clean. I'm going to clean that off using our onto the next polish remover. I've got my polish ready to go, nice and mixed up. Somebody says, look, Karen getting all excited and stuff. Yes, you guys, like I said, I wasn't really planning on doing stamping today, but it's just a fun add-on, and you guys inspired me to do this one. So let's just see what happens today. So I think, do we want to do the solid, or do we want to do kind of an outline? I think we should probably do those solid leaves, but you guys, we've got both of those options for you there. So let's grab our black here. And I got everything ready to go. I'm just doing a final check just to make sure, because again, you guys, stamping is something that you have to work very quickly with. If you wait too long, or if you kind of procrastinate, or maybe you get your polish on the stamping plate and then you go through and you scrape it, and then maybe you lost your stamper, or maybe you have to clean it off, your polish is already drying in that stamp. So you do have to work quick. So I think we've got everything ready to go here. I'm going to take a little bit of that black polish. We're going to load up our plate. I'm going to use my scraping card, scrape firmly across there. I'm going to use my stamping tool, pick that up on there. I'm going to look through that, and we're going to just place that onto our nail, setting that right down on there. Oh, you guys, look at how cute that is. What do you guys think? Do you love this? Do you love the leaves? Are you ready for fall leaves? I don't know. Let me know. Because I don't know if I'm quite ready for it yet, but here we are in fall. So I'm going to take, we've got a little bit of that polish that kind of set down on the side there. I'm going to take our onto the next polish remover and our polish perfector brush. I'm going to pump a little bit of that polish remover up into the cup. And then I can use that brush to clean off anything around the edges. Come in nice and close for you guys to see. And this is just a quick and easy way of cleaning up around those edges so you don't have that polish on the skin. And then as we're cleaning this up, you guys, our polish is already dry. Like, this is such a fast drying polish that it is gonna, you can see it's already dry. So super fast drying. So by the time you get all of your nails stamped and then you go through and clean up, it's definitely gonna be dry in plenty of time. So at this point, you could go through and you could top coat with just your air dry top coat if you wanted to do that over your stamping designs. Otherwise, let's go ahead. You guys want to see, you want to see the shiny again or the matte again? Let me know in the chat, shiny or matte. Because we could go through again with that matte non-tack top coat and seal our stamp design in, or we could use that shiny ultimate finish top coat, okay? So either one, what do you guys think? Matte or shiny? Matte or shiny? Let's go with shiny. Let's just go with shiny today, because then I'll show you the matte on the other nails. But you guys, again, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we're finishing up our nails here. Join our community. Keep getting free education. Oh yeah, you guys, that was a good choice with the shiny. I love that. Love it, love it. Got a little bit of that top coat right around that edge there. Just want to make sure I clean that up. Clean that top coat right off the edge. Let's get this back into the light and we'll give that a full cure. So again, our top coats are going to cure for a full 60 seconds in the light. And yes, okay, sorry guys, I had to check and make sure that the timer on my light was set perfectly. So on this finished hand, we've got our fall to, or our summer to fall to maybe even to winter colors. We've got our matte finish on a couple. We've got that shiny finish on the others. So you guys, I hope that you enjoyed our designs today. I hope you enjoyed our lesson with acrylic today. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join our community, continue to get free education with us, and have a lot of fun. And hopefully your transition from summer into fall goes as smooth as our ombres do on the nails. All right, you guys, let me grab our last nail out of the light here. We've got that one more, just that quick little add-on that we did here with our fall leaves and our candy corn add-on today. So you guys, thank you for the inspiration. You guys inspired me today, so hopefully I've inspired you, and hopefully you'll be able to take some of these designs and create your own beautiful summer to fall nails. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. Hit that subscribe button if you had fun today, if you enjoyed our designs, and we will see you guys